going on, everybody? Greg here, and let's slice our way into the review of 2017's Logan. Logan was directed by James Mangold, and it's starring Hugh Jackman as Logan, Patrick Stewart as Professor X or Charles, Daphne King as Laura, and Boyd Holbrook as Pierce. Oh my gosh, I know I already put it in the title, but I'm going to just give you a spoiler warning right now. Turn this off, you got 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, spoiler time, review time. Let's freaking do this. This was an amazing film. There's so much to talk about. This is going to be a long video, so let's just get into what the plot of Logan is. So this movie takes place in, I believe, 2029. If it's 2028, my apologies, but I think it's 2029, so it takes place in the future. And as of this point, Logan and Charles are the only two remaining mutants in the world. But in the movie, we find out that there was a bunch of genetically made mutants. And they're all a bunch of little kids who were genetically made with all these different sorts of powers. And they were set free by this nurse, Gabriella, I believe her name was. And she sets them free because she's one of the only good people who work with these kids that were genetically made. So the bad guys who work for the company have to go try and round up this girl, Laura. And it's up to Logan and Charles to get her safely to North Dakota, because if they get her there by some certain time, then her and a bunch of other of the little kid mutants that were set free are going to meet up, and then they're going to cross the border into Canada. And in Canada, it's not legal for them to do testing like it is where they are right now. It's illegal. So let's talk about this right now. I loved this movie. This movie's freaking action was so good. It was so bloody. It was so violent. In the very first opening of the movie, Logan's taking on these three, like cholos, as they said, who probably ended up stealing his Cadillac or something, because he wakes up in the back of this vehicle, and he's just like, what the fuck? Like, that's the first thing that's said, so you already know, like, yep, they took full advantage of the fact that this was a rated R movie. So he wakes up, and he just instantly starts killing these people. And this is like the first act of the movie. He's stabbing them through their face, in their necks. He's cutting their freaking arms off with his claws. It's just so freaking amazing. The fact that there was so much violence in this movie just made it what it was supposed to be. Excuse me about those stupid dogs. Let's talk about Laura. She's the little girl who we come to find out is actually Wolverine's daughter. She was created with the same cells that Logan had left at the facility where he was turned into, the Wolverine with the adamantium. She was such a good little actor. Oh my gosh, like her parts where Logan ended up dying, spoiler, like I said. But those parts that she was in and she was acting, oh my gosh, her freaking stunt work, whatever she did of it, was really, really good. There were moments where she had to speak Spanish and English. That was played out really well. And then she had these touching moments where she's like saying goodbye to Wolverine as her dad. And it's just so freaking heart-pulling. It was so sad. Loved her. I loved her character so much. Seeing Hugh Jackman as the role of Logan for the last time was so awesome. But it was also kind of sad at the same time, because like in this movie, he just played Wolverine so good that it's like, man, now I wish they would rate more of these movies R and put him in them. But he definitely gave it his all in this last role. You know that he was like, I'm Wolverine. I've been Wolverine for like 10, 15 years. And you know what? I'm going to go out with a freaking bang. I am going to give this my all, and I'm going to just kill it. Also, they had Weapon 24, which was also played by Hugh Jackman. He basically was a genetically made Wolverine, and there was a head-to-head with him, twice in the movie. There was a head-to-head with him and Logan, and Weapon 24 was like a way younger, more evil, like brutal Wolverine, and Hugh Jackman was like old man Logan. And so going up against each other was just so freaking amazing. Like, I was like, this is so cool. Like, I freaking loved it. Patrick Stewart in the movie, let's talk about him real quick. Patrick Stewart, he's kind of old now. He's kind of going mental, so he can't really control his mind like he used to. And when he can't control his mind, he ends up having seizures. And his seizures just like, it kills heck of people, or it turns him into like a state of paralysis. And they kind of gave it away. I wasn't 100% sure what they were trying to say, but I'm pretty sure they were trying to say that Patrick Stewart actually was the person who killed all the remaining X-Men. They didn't really flat out say it, but I think that's what it was. But he was cool. It was nice to see him in that role again for the last time. I cannot believe they killed him off, but in a way it was okay because I felt he was kind of slowing down the story. Like, we really wanted to get Laura and Logan to be fighting, but they kind of had to babysit Patrick Stewart in a way. So I didn't really care too much for his role in the movie. It didn't bother me. I just didn't really care too much for him. So I'm glad halfway through they kind of killed him off. But with that being said, I can't believe they actually went there and they killed Charles, and they killed Logan in this movie. This movie had me choked up at several moments. Two in particular. One, when Logan is burying Charles. Oh my gosh. I was like, Wolverine, Logan, Hugh Jackman, whoever you want to be known by. Dude, your acting is amazing in this movie. When he was like trying to hold his tears back, but he couldn't, I was like, part of it made me sad, like, oh man, like Charles. But at the same time, as a movie viewer and like a reviewer, I was also noticing, I was like, Hugh Jackman, dude, you stepped it up for this movie. Like, you are crying, but like not crying. It was so good. So good. And also when young Wolverine kills old man Wolverine and he's having that moment with Laura where he dies and she's like, "Daddy." I was like, "Oh my goodness." Especially me being a daddy. I was like, "Oh no, my son, my daughter." But this movie I just thought was phenomenal. Through and through, from the beginning to the end, I was so invested. I absolutely loved it. All the characters, they killed it. I even liked the bad guy. I forgot who he was, but oh yeah, Pierce. I thought he was cool. He didn't. I don't know. I didn't care for him either way, but he was better than other bad guys. I didn't like Stryker in like number 1 and 2. I like this guy way better. But I also felt like they kind of ended this movie with the possibility of there being maybe like a sequel to this, or like its own type of like maybe reboot, or sister movie starring Laura. I thought maybe possibly that was a thing because they never fully made it to Canada. Like, I think you're going to assume that they did, but they never fully made it there, and then Wolverine dies. So it's like, are we just going to end it there, or are you going to have something to it? I don't know, but either way, I loved it. What I'm going to rate Logan is a solid 5 out of 5. If you guys think I'm being too generous, I'm sorry, but I loved it. I thought it was like the most perfect superhero movie ever. It definitely was better than every other X-Men movie, and I had just wished while I was watching it, I'm like, I wish I didn't waste all these years watching like 5 other X-Men movies that were PG and PG-13. Like, this movie should have freaking been... All the X-Men movies should have been rated R from the beginning, and we should have got this type of content. It's a shame that like the last Hugh Jackman performance had to be like this. I just wish they could have kept going, but I'll take it for what it was. It was freaking amazing. I'm definitely going to own this movie on Blu-ray the day it comes out. No doubt. Thank you, everybody, as always, for watching my reviews. I super duper appreciate it. Do me a favor. Please go down, comment, like, and share this video. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and also hit that little bell so you can be notified when I have a new video for you. Thanks, guys, again, and I hope you didn't get this review spoiled for Logan. I hope you go out and you enjoy it just as much as I did. And remember, when you go home tonight, to watch a movie, man.